Lechi lach to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha to a place you do not know. Lechi lach.
It is 10 o'clock at night in the United Arab Emirates in Dubai, right? And so Julia's staying up particularly late for her. She's not used to it. She usually operates at 9 o'clock, but she'll get used to it. And we don't have any big announcements, except I think we will have a day off. Is it next Thursday? There will be no presentation on next Thursday, a week from today. So you'll get a day off, and that's first time in what? 80 episodes that we've taken the day off.
It's because of Lag BaOmer.
Right.
Because of Lag BaOmer, we will, we will celebrate. We will make fires, and I decided that we deserve an afternoon off, and we will be celebrating the Lag BaOmer, and we will be back as usual. And please don't forget that we do have a presentation Tuesday, which I will be talking. It will be a presentation, not a virtual tour. And we are going to the synagogue of Hadassah in Karen Hospital to talk about Marc Chagall and about his famous windows. So this is something I'm looking forward to, and I hope you will join me there. It is beautiful. And actually, the benefit of the presentation is that when you actually walk into the synagogue, you are down there while the windows are up there, and you don't see the details. So the presentation will actually allow you to see the details. So there is a positive thing to it. Okay, so I will start talking about Dubai and a little bit of Sharjah. Now, I don't know, how many people do we have? I'm just curious. I don't have
75.
Yeah, okay. So, listen, before I actually start, one thing is, as you know, I'm no resident of UAE. I don't plan to be one. I am here for the last 4 days, running around like 10 hours, 11, 12 hours a day. The itinerary is incredible. And I will share just a little bit of it with you. And then I have another 2 days to go. Actually, 2.5 days to go, which is supposed to be amazing as well. So, I will show you what I already saw. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask. I'm not sure I will have the answer, but I will try to be as, as helpful and as knowledgeable as possible. And yeah, it is amazing. I don't know if any of you ever been to UAE. So if you have been, so you know what I'm talking about. If you have not been, so it is highly recommended. I'm sort of making promotion to UAE, but it is really deserves it. And as Steve said, we should consider an UAE extension like Israel, Jordan, and then Dubai. So I will be using my cell phone, so there are some disadvantages to it, but this is what I have. I have so many photos. I will start sharing my screen in a minute. Now, I have one little problem, which is I don't have a watch, and I normally use my cell phone, but I cannot use it as the watch same time as they do the presentation. So I will need somebody to let me know that, I ran out of time. So
I'll tell you when you should stop.
Exactly. Yeah, just tell me when I should stop, because otherwise I will not. And,
do you want a warning, like there's 15 minutes left?
No, you just tell me like 5 minutes, and it's or maybe I will run out of things to say prior.
That's good too. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then the last thing, it will have no like logic to it, no order. It just as it is in my camera, because it was impossible to sort it out in a proper way because having no computer. And anyhow, UAE is like a puzzle. It is a puzzle. It is a maze. It is it is different from whatever I ever saw before. And so, you will see it as I saw it, like the whole mess of buildings, people, shopping malls, sand dunes, people dressed like Bedouins, but there are no Bedouins, and and more of it. So having said that, let me start sharing my screen.
Yes.
Okay, well, hopefully you can. And what you see now is a Muslim praying his last prayer after sunset in front of an artificial light and two real palm trees right on the sand. Yeah, we are on the same page?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So this is it. This is the last photo I took today, and this is one of our drivers who drove us into the desert. And while we were having our dinner and listening to some music and stuff, a typical tourist-oriented presentation in the desert, he was silently praying towards Mecca. And it was so special, this impossible combination of the fully modern, like hyper, extra modern life of Dubai city, and then you drive about 20 minutes, and here you are in the sand dune desert similar to Sahara. I never been to Sahara, but other people in the group who've been there, they said that that's what it looks like, and they wear white and they pray towards Mecca, right on the sand. So I just love this photo. Well, okay. What you can see now is us driving.
Your son is a genius.
Okay. I know. I haven't said that.
So what are we looking at, Julia?
Well, what you see now is the Jeep Dune Safari. We have drivers. We have a Arabic / Pakistani music because the driver is Pakistani, and we are driving on and uphill and downhill and off the dunes. And I ended up having a severe motion sickness, but the others were very happy. So these are the dunes, which looks like Morocco. And so on the sand dunes in the middle of the sand dune Jeep Safari. The sand is it's a bit orange, it doesn't look like the sand dunes in Israel. It doesn't look like sand dunes. I don't know. I mean, I have nothing to compare to except of Jordan. Very soft, very small particles. Very warm, very deep, and it's just great. You climb on these dunes and you feel like you're sinking in it, and then you can either run back downhill or slide downhill or just take a photo on top of. Right, so now you can see that the sand dunes are actually stretched all the way till the horizon, and behind me I'm facing north, so now you're facing the south, and down south, this is where Abu Dhabi is. We were supposed to go to Abu Dhabi, but that was not possible because the COVID-19 restrictions in Dubai and Abu Dhabi are different. So even though you can land in Dubai and do the fast PCR test and you're free to go, you have to be quarantined for 14 days in Abu Dhabi, so that did not work for us. So Abu Dhabi is in the far distance behind me. Okay, another glance to the sand dunes. I don't know, if you don't like sand, so this is a disaster. If you do like sand, so you see that it is pretty and it looks like waves. I don't know, can you see the waves in it? I can. More sand dunes. And well, all of a sudden you see this is an aquarium. This is an underwater aquarium, but you see people standing down there. This photo is taken from the second floor of the largest mall in the world. the largest shopping mall in the world, which is called the Dubai Mall. It's not the largest one by size. I can't even imagine how big is the largest one, but this is the biggest one in terms of the number of shops. Okay. Now, I can't remember the number, but what the guide said is that if you want to visit all these shops, okay, just in the Dubai Mall, the one and the only Dubai Mall, and you spend 1 minute in each shop, so you will end up walking for 3 full days in a row. Okay, like 60 minutes per hour, 24 hours a day, 3 days in a row, and then you saw it all. And that means that you have enough room for every possible brand and fountains and decorations and a huge aquarium, which is what you see here, a huge, it's like the underwater observatory in Eilat, for those who know it. It is a bit like, well, I saw an underwater observatory in Cape Town and the aquarium Monterey in California. And this is in Dubai, surrounded by incredible skyscrapers you will see now. And a huge, enormous shopping mall. And this is one floor. And then the second floor is a zoo, which has fish in it, and lizards, and otters, and alligators, and you name it. And the whole thing is inside a very well air-conditioned shopping mall. So you're walking, shopping, and you hardly believe. Well, here, this is a bad photo, I know, but the creature is so amazing and cute and beautiful. I don't know if you can do anything with it. It's called a sugar glider. It's a tiny little rodent, which just came out of its hole. It's a nocturnal animal, and so the light is red, so the glider will think that this is nighttime. This is a panorama of the second floor of this zoo. This is a fish. Okay, this fish is about 1 meter long. It doesn't move, I guess, just because it didn't feel like moving. I mean, why should you move if you have an aquarium, you're well fed? It looks like an alligator. Look at its nose. I have no idea what it is called. It has some name which has to do with the alligator. I don't know, but it's just amazing. Well, I don't know if you can see what I see. I mean, when I first looked at it, I had no idea what it is. Okay, take a good look. What is it? Any ideas? Guys, you can unmute yourself. What is
turtle? A turtle?
Yes, exactly. It is a turtle sitting on a rock under the water. Okay, that's what it does. Now, when I looked at the turtle, first I thought that it is a fake one, because in Dubai you never know what is real and what is fake, and you know, you always feel like surrealistic. I did not think about it before I went here, but when I landed, I thought that this is the best place to be during COVID-19 times, because we sort of live in an unreal times, in an unreal world, which is so different from what we normally have, and it just fits, you know. It's like virtual reality, and you walk around and you don't really know if what you see is real or it's virtual or it pretends to be something else, but it's actually 3D. So anyhow, I looked at this thing, and then it took me a while to realize that this is a turtle. And then I was not sure whether it is real or fake. So I kept looking at it, and eventually I saw that it blinks. So I knew it's real. And then I thought that maybe the poor creature is caught in between the glass in front of it and the rock behind it. Okay. So then I was really worried. So I started looking for somebody who will help me, actually help the turtle. And there's so many people working around here. I mean, this is the most workers abandoned place in the world, or at least for me. I mean, you have a worker at every corner. So I talked to a nice lady from Japan. She happened to work there and said, listen, you have a turtle which is stuck and you got to help it. And she said, oh no, don't worry about it. It's okay. And I said, are you sure? And she said, yeah, when we feed it, it goes away to have some food and then it comes back. It's just a turtle which likes to sit on the rock. That's what it is. All right, so I walked away. Another fish which does not look real. You see this long nose? I mean, a very Jewish nose and the open mouth. That's what it is. This is how it lives. Okay. And
You are so
sorry. Okay. And more of the same fish. And another one. Can you see how strange it looks? Guys, are you with me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Okay. Well, have you ever seen such a fish?
Not in my lifetime have I seen anything that looks like that.
Yeah,
No,
exactly. No, never. I mean, it looks like an elephant combined with a fish. And again, it looks unreal and it is very typical to UAE, but it is real. And well, this fish, again, I never saw those. My husband said that he knows them. Can you see that you can actually see through these fish? I mean, they're totally transparent, totally 100%. So that's what they are. And this is a general look of the shopping mall. These are only the 2 floors. There are 2 more floors. Well, I already talked about how big it is and more of the same. Well, I think that looks like a UFO or maybe an alien. Can you see an alien looking at you, maybe smiling at you? This is a manta ray which placed itself on the glass roof of a tunnel which lets you walk through this huge aquarium. So you looking at the manta ray does not see you because what looks like its eyes, these are actually the gills. But it is an amazing creature. More of the same. And a shark. All right, another manta ray. That's the aquarium from outside. And well, we are almost at the same mall right now. What you see is the view from 124th floor of the highest building in the world, which is located right on top of the shopping mall. So what you do, you walk into the shopping mall and you walk for a while. I mean, you walk for like 25 minutes straight forward inside the shopping mall until you get to the elevator. And then the elevator will take you up, not to the top. This is not possible, but it will take you to 124th floor. And then you will be half a kilometer above the ground, 1,500 feet above the ground. And as I said, this is the tallest building in the world, which is almost a kilometer high. Okay, 826 meters to be precise, almost a kilometer above the ground, which is also the sea level. And even though this is the highest one, the UAE are unhappy with the achievement, and therefore they're building a new one, which will be higher. Okay, the new one, which is supposed to be ready in a few years, will reach 1 kilometer sharp. So this is
Julia?
Burj Khalifa. Yeah.
Julia, how
Yes.
large this shopping mall that you're talking about is? How many is it miles long or big? How big is this thing? You talked about how long it would take to get through each store, but can you describe the length of it or the size of it?
Well, frankly, I'm not sure. I think we were told something about 150 something soccer fields.
Now, I just looked it up. I just looked it up. 12 million square feet and 50
thank you.
And 50 soccer fields.
50 soccer fields. Okay. Well, you see, I could not remember this. I was so impressed by the number of the shops and the fact that this is not the largest mall in the world in terms of, square feet. So, okay. Thank you, Pamela. It's so good to have Google. All right. So, anyhow, when you're done with the mall, or at least you get rid of it for a while, so then you take the elevator and you reach this incredible view. It is incredible no matter what. But when you think about the fact that the UAE, okay, the United Arab Emirates, were born in December 1971, okay, which means that it is younger than most of us. And when it was born, whatever you see in front of you now as skyscrapers and, constructed area was basically sand. It took them, 50 years, less than 50 years to build whatever you see in front of you. Now, we're looking from Burj Khalifa. Can you guess how long it took them to build the highest building in the world, which is almost 1 kilometer high? Any ideas? Any suggestions? How long did it take? Without Google, please. Anybody?
2 years.
2 years.
Hey, yeah, okay. 3 years. 3 years. It means 50 stores, 50 floors in a year, because we could reach only 124th floor, but there are total 165 floors to this giant. Yeah, and the rest just did not exist. Okay, another look in a different angle. You can see the blue sea. This is the Persian Gulf. And if you start sailing across the Gulf, so within about half an hour, you will reach Iran, which is another dream which did not yet come true. What I hope you can also see is the blue water, which is right in front of you, like not on the right, which is the sea, but right in front of you, there is a blue strip of water, which looks like a canal. Okay, this is an artificial canal which was built in order to bring the ship and some fresh air, some breeze from the sea inland in between the skyscrapers. Okay, so you can see how small these skyscrapers appear, but that's only because we are so high. Another view, now you can see more of the Persian Gulf. And what you can also see, like little, little things in the water, which might look like little islands. Okay, I hope you see what I'm talking about, like patches. So these are artificial islands, which are built in such a way so each island represents a different country, so the shape is more or less the shape of the country. It is an ongoing project, but in a few years they expect to accomplish, and then you will be able to visit the islands, and each island will represent a country. Okay, another tourist attraction. Right now it's not working, so they have something different, and this is something we are going to visit tomorrow. And this is a global village when you have areas representing different countries. Okay, another view. As you can see, I was very excited. Okay, we got it. Okay, now this is the rest of Burj Khalifa. This is the rest of the building. You don't even see the end of it because it is so tall, and that's because we have another almost half a kilometer above us. No, that's obviously me. Okay. This is not very okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that on top of the other things inside the shopping mall, we are back into the Dubai shopping mall. We have a replica of a dinosaur. All right, just to make you more interested in this shopping mall. By the way, it's a very fancy one. There are like dozens of shopping malls around. This is a fancy one. So if you want to get it, let's say a t-shirt in this one, so you have to pay, well, you know, $30, $40 will be a bargain. A nice t-shirt will cost much more. But you don't have to go shopping in this particular one. So we did not shop, we just walked around. Okay. And this is what Burj Khalifa looks from outside. So the yellow thing on the left, this is part of the roof of the shopping mall. And this is Burj Khalifa. I mean, it is amazing. It's I saw quite a few photos of it before, I guess most of you as well. But when you are standing there and you look at this amazing structure, which is made of metal and glass, and that's it, and it's almost a kilometer above you, you don't believe it is a it's the locals, they talk about it like it's not just a symbol, you know, it's not just an achievement, but this is something which makes you feel, it is designed to make you feel that nothing can stop you. Everything is possible, you know, sky is the limit. And this is something I really love about it. You look at it and you say, no way, this is not possible. And then you look at it again and you think, well, it is here. It is possible. So what else is possible? So it is a very powerful symbol. Well, here, this is the bird of prey. This is a falcon. And there is a Russian lady behind it. And the falcon does not see anything. You see, there is something which looks like a mask on its head. And the idea is to keep it calm, because when the falcon sees people around it, so it gets nervous. And these falcons are actually used for hunting. They're trained for hunting, they're used for hunting, they're used for competitions, they're used as a status symbol. So the Emirates locals, the true locals, the rich locals, they will have falcons at home. They will hire trainers for the falcons. The guy who is holding the falcon is a British guy who is hired to be a trainer. And the falcons are so precious, and it is so important to have a good falcon, you know, who will win a competition. So when they travel, well, they have a special hospital for falcons only. There is another hospital for racing camels only as well. They spend fortune, of course, on taking care of the falcons. And when they travel abroad for competitions, obviously they take the falcons with them. And there's special airplanes which have facilities for falcons. And they have a special, like, you know, there is a business class and there is a falcon class. So you are sitting in a falcon class next to your falcon, and you have to have a special passport to travel with it. So we did not travel with our falcon, and it is illegal to have a private falcon in Israel because it is a wild bird of prey. But we had just a little, you know, demo here. Okay. Again, okay, eating. This is the hawk. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a hawk inside a palm tree. This is another part of the demonstration. Well, that looks like a spaceship. Yeah? You see this one? A golden sort of a spaceship. So this is a metro station. That's it. All the metro stations, they look like that. I don't know if they're gold colored, gold plated. I guess they're only gold colored, but you know, the very idea of having such a train station is amazing. It's beautiful. It's so convenient. It's fast. Everything is so clean. You know, everything is super modern. It grew up on sands so fast. It is surrounded by sands, and well, we actually have quite a bit to learn from the Emirates. And well, now we are in the city, surrounded by the skyscrapers. Now this photo is taken from the bus, so this is basically the ground level. And now you can see how tall these buildings are. I mean, before from Burj Khalifa, they look like, I don't know, models. But now you can see how tall, how pretty, how special, how different the designs are. And oh, this is Corona Malka, of course, and a doll made of a towel, which was prepared by the lady who cleaned my room this morning. So she made it for me, and I was so delighted to see it. So I had to share it with you. Okay, so we have Corona Malka, and we have Corona Malka second generation. And again, as I told you, this possible combination of super modern and totally traditional. These are the two minarets of a mosque. There are, I don't know, dozens, maybe hundreds of mosques all around Dubai. Now, they are surrounded by these super modern skyscrapers, but the mosques themselves, they are designed in a very, very particular, very, very traditional Moroccan Persian style, more Persian than Moroccan. They're so beautiful. They look like lace. They're so gentle. They have this beautiful lighting nighttime. They are working mosques, all of them. And, you know, you just park your limo and, well, I'm talking about a local, you know, citizen of Dubai. So you park your limo and you walk in your long, shining, clean white dress, which is called galabia. And you walk into a mosque, and then you pray on this little carpet, you know, the traditional Muslim carpet. You pray to Allah, and you actually have a very good reason to say thank you. Another beautiful mosque. And all right, and then yesterday we drove into the mountains, we drove into the desert. This desert looks a little bit like Eilat Mountains, but it's more blackish. It doesn't look like it on this photo because of the lighting, but the rocks are almost black. Granite rocks, not basalt, but granite, very dark granite, not reddish like in Eilat. We have parts of it in Jordan as well, and Sinai. But anyhow, you're driving into the desert, and comparing to this desert, Eilat has plenty of rain. Now, in Eilat, the average rainfall is between 25 to 50 millimeters of rain. Okay, that's almost nothing. But comparing to this desert in Dubai, it is a lot. Meaning that in this desert, you cannot see even one drop of rain for years in a row. But whatever rain they got, they collected into this artificial lake. Okay, they just built a dam, and they make a deep freshwater, wonderful blue lake, which is surrounded by these totally bare mountains. I mean, nothing grows there because there is no soil, you know. And then you just take a little boat or a larger boat or a kayak, and you go paddling in the middle of the desert. And again, you feel as if it is unreal, but here we are. Okay, another photo to say this is what the dam looks like. Okay, you see that it's big enough to drive cars on it, with some beautiful colorful flags on both sides. And this is the artificial lake on your right hand side. Okay, another view. You see what I'm talking about, that it does not look real, because normally when you have water, you have vegetation, but you have no vegetation because there is no ground for the roots. Oh, some beehives. This is the inner courtyard of the fortified facility, which belongs to the royal family. I mean, before Dubai was super modern and whatever I already said, the royal family of Dubai were Bedouins. I mean, they are still Bedouins, but today they have a palace, and back then they would live in here, in the middle of the desert. The vegetation which you see behind the walls is the vegetation of an oasis, a relatively lush oasis, not far from this artificial lake we saw. And this is where the royal family lived for generations and generations to come, until the oil was discovered and made Dubai what it is, and before the tourists came and made Dubai what it is. And then the royal family renovated and restored this compound, so now it is a museum. And this is where they celebrate, I mean, the royal family of Dubai, which can buy half of the world, I guess. This is where they celebrate the Independence Day of UAE, back to their roots, which is, again, I think this is very special. Some palm trees. The palm trees, I mean, they look just like the palm trees in Israel, but here they have different species of dates, and they dates themselves, the fruits, they look different, they taste different. They are black, you know, they have quite a few species, but the most common one is black. And since now we are in the Ramadan month, you know, Ramadan is the month when the Muslims fast during the day and they eat only during the night. So during the day, a faithful Muslim will not eat and will not drink, which is, I could never understand how this is possible, but it is, obviously. And when you stop fasting, I mean, in the end of the day, when you can start eating again, so you always start with a special drink, which is made of dates. It's a bit sweet. And then you eat some dates, and only then you normally start eating. And so because of Ramadan, it is illegal to eat outdoors. Okay, this is something to keep in mind if you travel UAE during Ramadan. The restaurants are open, the supermarkets are open, because there's so many tourists here, and there's so many workers here from, you know, all over the world, and they're not necessarily Muslims. So everything is open, but you can eat in the restaurant or the cafeteria, but you cannot eat just, you know, walking around. You cannot eat or drink. And everywhere, like literally everywhere, they sell piles and piles of dates to break your fast. Another look at the same oasis. Okay. This is a very nice hotel. Look at these grass lawns. I mean, we are within a walking distance from these black mountains with no vegetation whatsoever, and now we have this beautiful grass lawn. And obviously, because it is so well irrigated, You can see the white tents right next to the pool, and the water which is used here both for drinking and for irrigation and everything is desalinated marine water. So they use much more desalinated marine water comparing to the amount we use in Israel, but that's because we have more aquifer water. We have our Kinneret, which they don't have. I mean, we are in the extreme desert here. This is, I don't know, guys, maybe you are more familiar with the story than I am, but once upon a time, there used to be a ship which was the largest ship ever built. And this is Queen Elizabeth II, which is a British ship, which was sailing back and forth from America to Europe during about, well, almost 30 years. And back in 2006, the owner decided that it is too expensive to keep maintaining it, and it is not, it is not modern enough, and people didn't want to be there so much, even though it was so famous. And Queen Elizabeth herself, Her Majesty, was a guest here, and Dalai Lama was a guest here, and some other very famous figures were guests. But anyhow, it cost $20 million per year to maintain the ship, and back in 2006 they decided to get rid of it. And then the sheikh, he's not a king, but the ruler of Dubai, he offered to buy the ship from the British owners, and it was sold for 100 million US dollars, and then it sailed all the way from England to Dubai, and this is where it docked, and today it is a hotel. And it is also a tourist attraction, so they have tours for tourists coming over. Right now, there are very, very few tourists. I have to say that we are very lucky to be here during COVID-19 because everything is open, everything is functioning, and everything is empty. I mean, I read about people waiting in the line to get to the ship, people waiting in the line for hours to get to Burj Khalifa, and we are the only group, no matter where we go. So highly recommended. And Queen Elizabeth II is a hotel which is empty now, but normally it is, at least we were told that it is fully booked. And the guide who was guiding us around the ship, he was a butler on the ship for almost 30 years. And when the ship moved to Dubai, so he was offered a job as a tour guide, so he moved with the ship. A great guy. Yeah, this is the view from the dock of the ship. You can see some privately owned yachts. Each one costs millions of euros, and we are facing east now, so we are facing India. And this is one of the best. This is one of the most famous sites in Dubai. It is called the Frame of Dubai. It does look like a frame. And I don't remember the name of the architect. He is a foreigner. And anyhow, a few years ago, a competition was announced. The competition was for a structure which will symbolize the past and the future of Dubai. Okay, so there were 100 projects submitted, and this one won the competition. And well, it is amazing. I mean, it is 150 meters high, which is 450 feet high. It is almost 300 feet wide, and it is big enough to have an elevator on each side. Okay, so you walk in, you take an elevator up to the top, and then on the top, you just walk inside and you see this beautiful view of Dubai. You have a little exhibit of the past of Dubai at the bottom. The past of Dubai is basically Bedouin tents and sand and camels. And on the other side, you have a little exhibit talking about the future of Dubai, which is a spaceship, because right now there is a space project in Dubai. The head of the space project is a woman, and she's 32 years old only. She's considered to be a genius. And Sheikh Al Maktoum, the ruler of Dubai, he believes that his people will make it to the sky, into the universe in a few years. And it is gold plated. It looks like a lace. It looks like letters in Arabic, and these are indeed letters which represent the letters of Quran. It doesn't say anything. It does not have a meaning, but in Muslim tradition, just like in the Jewish tradition, the letters themselves, they have meaning. They have some magical power to them. And so when you use these letters, you use the power of your faith. You use the power of Islam. You use Allah will help you. Okay, it is a Kabbalistic approach which exists in Islam as well.
Julia,
So this
it's
yeah?
3 minutes to get to an hour.
All right. Okay. So just a few more photos and we're done. Okay. So I will start skipping because I want to get to a point. All right. More of the amazing views. Okay. I am getting to something. Don't worry. This is a hotel lobby. I mean, that's it. Again, it looks like the letters. It looks like the letter of the Arabic alphabet. It's just a hotel lobby which was designed by a lady, an architect from Iraq. She is amazing, okay? And it is a glass roof up there, so you can see the top of the building above and the skies at night. Okay, I have so much more to say, of course, but no, I want you to see something. Oh, this is a limo, okay? It's big enough for 14 people to sit inside comfortably. This is a car, yeah. It's a very long one. Anyhow, 14 people can sit inside, listen to the music, and they gave us a tour of the city in these cars, so we will feel very fancy.
Julia, what were those lights? What were those lit tree things? That just go back like two pictures. One more. Those.
Yeah.
What are
right.
they?
Well, we called it mushrooms. These are just decorations. I mean, the only thing they're doing is to make things look unreal and pretty. Okay.
They remind me of the ones in Singapore, but those dance and they do a light show in Singapore.
Okay. All right. I've never been to Singapore. Well, these guys here, they don't dance. They stay still, but they do look beautiful and unreal. Okay. No, I got to show you something. Wait a minute. Oh, this is This is a museum of antique cars. I'm not sure what it is, but this is an American car from the 60s. It belongs to Sheikh Al Maktoum. If anybody can recognize it, so fine.
It's a Rolls Royce.
It's a Rolls Royce. Yeah.
A Rolls Royce, okay. Oh, probably. This is another God knows what. But can you see that it has a table in the middle? Okay, it's an open car having a table in the middle with 4 chairs facing it. So I don't know how slow that should go so you can have lunch, but that's what it is designed for. Okay, all right, I got to the point. Okay. Now, this is not in Dubai. This is in a different emirate, which is called Sharjah, which is the most Muslim, the most religious of all. And here we are in the Museum of Islam. Okay? All right. Can you recognize what we're looking at? This is a model of what? This is something quite a few of you saw in reality, or at least on Zoom. What is it?
Al-Aqsa Mosque.
All right, this is the Temple Mount. Exactly, this is the Temple Mount, and the Golden Dome, the Dome of the Rock in the middle, and on its right-hand side there is a little structure which is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and this is quite a good model of the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, and it is placed in a very nice spot in the center of the museum because, as you know, Jerusalem is the 3rd holiest place in the world for the Islam. So they're talking about Mecca and Medina and Jerusalem. And when we walked into the museum and we saw Jerusalem, it was like, for the first second, it was, oh my God, Jerusalem. What does it do here in Sharjah? And the second thought was like, yeah, obviously, this is holy for the Muslims. And here we are, Israelis, some of us from Jerusalem, looking at the model in UAE about 6 months after the Abraham Accords. And, again, it is amazing feeling to be here. Because that's where it all started, that takes us to the very roots of our faith, of Muslim faith and Abraham Accords. So this is what I have to say for now. And thank you so much for being with me. Hey.
Thank you.
Okay, I have to thank you all. I really want to thank Noam. I'm not sure he's still here, but it would not work without him. So, Noam, if you're still here, so thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm here. You're welcome. Julia, the population is made up of a lot of foreigners in that outfit. Do you have a breakdown?
Right. Yeah, that's true. Well, actually, this is something I wanted to mention. I did not have the time, so thanks for asking. The total population of the UAE, okay, the UAE consists of 7 Emirates, and the total overall population of the 7 is almost 10 million. All right, so that's approximately the same population as Israel. The population of Dubai is about 3.3 million. All right, okay. Now, among the 10 millions, there are less than 1.5 million of citizens. And all of them belong to the original Bedouin tribes, which originally populated this area. So the citizens of Dubai, they belong to one tribe. The citizens of Sharjah, they belong to one tribe. And the ruler of each emirate belongs to the royal family, which used to be the ruling family, the leading family of this area, of this tribe. And this is one of the reasons why the Emirates is so successful, because, you know, it's unlike Israel and Jordan and Syria, when, you know, Europeans came over and said, well, this is your border, UN voted, and here you go. Nobody voted for anything here. These are the traditional tribal lands, and this is where they live. Now, they are extremely wealthy, of course, and they hardly work. And if they do work, so we don't see them. I mean, we are touring around for like 10, 11 hours a day for the last 4 days. I don't think we saw more than 10 local citizens. Okay, everybody around us is a foreign worker. Now, the idea is very simple. If you want to come work here, you apply. You have to find a job, which is easy, and then you're welcome to come. Now, your employee will normally pay for your medical insurance, will pay for your apartment, will pay for your food, will pay for your transportation. And so even though the foreigners don't get paid so very much, but basically what they have is net, okay, or 80% net. And so we have foreign workers from everywhere. I mean, we saw this Falcon trainer from England, and the guys who are working in the restaurant in this hotel, they are from mainly from Egypt, Pakistan, and India. In the zoo, there were lovely girls from Kyrgyzstan and Japan. So you see, we're not just talking about poor countries, we're talking about wealthy countries as well. And people come over here, they work for a year, 2, 3, whatever. They make some money, they go home, they go elsewhere. So you don't see locals. I mean, this is frustrating in a way. You see residents, you don't see citizens. Yeah, Ina, I can see that you're holding a book. I'm not sure what it is.
This is a Sharjah Museum of Islamic Civilization. That's where I was.
Right. So, okay. So this is the one I was showing. Yeah, there are some amazing, beautiful exhibit. There is a whole exhibit dedicated to Jerusalem, and well, for a very good reason, of course.
Julia, there are questions in the chat. Would you like me to read them to you?
Yeah, please. Yeah, it is very inconvenient on the cell phone.
It's okay. So the first question is from Steve. He wants to know how your Arabic is.
Oh my gosh, no, it does not exist. And even though we in Israeli schools, we have compulsory Arabic classes. So I did study Arabic, but unfortunately we study oh my gosh, what do you call it? The literate in Arabic. There are actually two different Arabics. There is the spoken language and there is the written language, and these are two different languages. Now, unfortunately, and this is so silly, I think, but anyhow, we study the written Arabic, not the spoken. And
so
then,
you're studying the grammar.
No, it's not the grammar. These are two different languages. I mean, the word book, okay, or water is different in written and spoken language. These are two different words which have nothing in common. It is very strange. I don't know if there is any other language which works like that, but this is how it works in Arabic. Okay, so yeah, that's all I can say about it. Anyhow, so later when I was a student, I studied spoken Arabic, and I was actually a very good student. So, and then when I graduated, within a year maybe, I forgot it all. So It's non-existing.
Okay.
Okay.
Any plant or animal life in the desert?
Okay. So almost no plants, almost nothing, because there is almost no rain. Okay. Very, very few rare shrubs, no trees, unless we're talking about in irrigated areas, of course. There are gazelles in the desert. We saw the local type of a gazelle. God knows what the poor gazelle eats, okay? But we did see them. I saw 2 stray cats. That's it. Remember how many cats you see in Israel? All right, like 5 cats a minute. So I saw 2 cats. I took a photo because it is so special. No dogs. I did not see even 1 dog the whole time. And that's it. I mean, very, very organic or sand.
Is the aquarium part of the sea?
No. It is totally artificial, indoors, inside the shopping mall. It has nothing to it has nothing to do with the sea. I mean, it is disconnected. I mean, you have about 10,000 shops to walk through before you reach the aquarium.
Okay. Going down the questions. Hold on one second. There's more comments than questions. Is this the country where an island was made to look like a palm tree?
Yeah. This is the one. We have been there, but actually, we've been at a point where you don't see the palm tree shape. There are beautiful fountains there, but you don't see the shape. And tomorrow we are going to another spot from which you can actually see this palm tree shape. So if you wish, we can have a follow-up, Dubai part 2. Okay, I can see
there were many questions for that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so sure, why not? I mean, as you can see, I'm totally excited. So we can have a second part, and then it will be on the computer, so it will be better. I could see a question now regarding the Jewish community here.
You want to skip around? Okay.
So we will be back to it. Okay.
Okay. So this is not a question, but Harry keeps putting all these different math things he figures out along the way as usual, but I'll read this one. He looked at Wikipedia. Dubai has more than 65 malls in a city of 3 million people, and it's not because they're obsessed with shopping. Dubai has 65 malls in a city of just over 3 million people. That averages to 66 stores per mall. Okay.
Per what? Per mall?
Per mall. 66 stores per mall. He's just doing math.
No, but it doesn't work like that.
No, I know. I think he's just saying that. He's not telling it's a fact. He's just talking.
Okay.
He's just saying that there's a lot of stores. That's all.
Oh, there are so many stores, and actually, it's not because they're obsessed with shopping. This is true. That's because they somehow manage. They are amazingly smart, these people, because somehow they managed to make Dubai into, they call it 3 M's, okay? M for money, M for Muslim, and M for malls. And this is something every single tourist, and I'm serious, including even myself, even though I hate shopping, but every single tourist who comes to Dubai, one of the things you expect to do is shopping. Exactly. No matter how much you dislike it, but this is something you have to do in Dubai. And they, in a normal year, like not now, but normally, they have up to, ready for it, 50 million tourists coming in per year. 50 million tourists. All right. And the the tourists expect to go shopping. Now, I was really, really surprised. I mean, I always thought that the main source of income for the Emirates is oil, okay? Now, this is true for Abu Dhabi. It is not true for Dubai. The main source of income for Dubai is shopping, exactly. Like people like us going shopping. Now, they do realize that some people cannot afford like $100 per t-shirt, and therefore you have like every possible price. You can get a dress for $1, $10, $100, $1,000. Okay, everything is open, and so you end up spending money as much as you can.
Judy's asks, what's the worth of the average citizen? Is there any poverty?
Well, no, because the simple answer is no. No. How does it work? Every citizen, as I said, every citizen belongs to the tribe. Okay, the tribe shares the income of the Emirates. It is sort of a kibbutz. So if you are a member, if you are part of a tribe, so you share the income of the Emirate, and that means that you have enough money, more than enough money. Now, then on top of that, if you work and you have any sort of an income, that's fine. So you're more wealthy than the others. But there is no possible poverty here because it is like a kibbutz. Now, that's for the citizens. The residents, they are the foreign workers, and they can stay here only as long as they are employed. And therefore, they have the minimum salary, which will make sure that they're not poor. And if they lost their job, so they have to leave. You cannot become a citizen. There's no way.
Wow.
Okay, therefore, there is no poverty here.
Susan is asking, how can you have beehives without vegetation?
Oh no, you do have, they plant vegetation for the bees. And again, they plant vegetation because they can irrigate it because they use this desalinating marine water plants. So the bees, they have plenty of flowers and they produce actually amazing honey. We tried a few honeys and they're very different. I mean, they're really, really special because they plant local desert plants, which I never saw before. And the taste of the honey is really different from what we normally have. And the honey is very, very expensive. I mean, a little glass of honey, you know, tiny little one, will cost, like the smallest one costs 150 dirhams, which is about $40 US. Okay, that's a little can of honey. Yeah, it is very expensive, but it is delicious.
Gal's asking, is the lake's watercraft limited to self-propelled crafts so the water doesn't get polluted? Populated would be bad. Polluted?
Yeah, okay. I was actually thinking of populated by
that would be
whom?
so bad. Hopefully not people.
Yeah. Are you talking about this artificial lake?
I think
Well,
so.
I guess the question was about the artificial lake.
Yes, the artificial lake.
The artificial lake. Yeah, well, there is one boat which is larger and it is operated by electricity, and the other boats are like little either paddling or what do you call it, like when you have pedals, like a bicycle, but on the water bicycle.
Paddle boat.
Paddle boat.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so anyhow, yeah, this is a good point. No pollution. And actually, there is no pollution, generally speaking. I mean, Dubai is the cleanest place I ever saw. I have heard that Singapore is incredibly clean. So I do believe, I mean, I've never been to Singapore myself, but as far as I've been to this is the cleanest by far. I mean, the public bathrooms are, they're just shining, everything is so clean. And what we love the most, since the air is very dry, obviously desert, so every bathroom will have a sink, will have soap, and will have a body lotion. It's like automatically part of a public bathroom, no matter where you go. So we were talking about the fact that, when we come back home, what should we do? Like, you wash your hands, and then where is your body lotion? So we should probably put a body lotion in our bathroom at home. So yes, this place is pure.
What percent of UAE's potable water is from desalination or desalination?
100%.
Okay. Stories. I'll get there. People asking about Dubai Part 2.
Okay, I consider you're interested. So, maybe we can, maybe we can do it Tuesday instead of Chagall, and then we can talk about Marc Chagall some other time, if you wish.
I was all excited. We can't, because all of these programs are already on all of the different.
Yeah, stay the course.
You can't. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do a part 2. We can do part 2 tomorrow.
Well,
we'll do it another day when we have time. I think we can't switch things up that have already been posted all over for thousands of people to see. Yeah.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay, so we will do it some other time, but yeah, there will be Dubai Part 2.
Okay, and then you'll
also, because there are quite a few other things in Dubai which I did not see, so you did not see. There are quite a few things which I saw you did not see because we did not have the time. And then on top of that, the day after tomorrow, we are going to Ras Al Khaimah, which is a tiny little emirate, which is right at the tip of Saudi Arabia. So this is the one which is closest to Iran, right next to Hormuz Straits. So it is a very, very special place. And so next time, whenever it is possible, we will have UAE Part 2.
And here's where we come to the sorry, what, Steve?
Yeah, so you'll be visiting 3 Emirates?
We are visiting 3 Emirates only. We were supposed to spend 2 days in Abu Dhabi, which is the largest one, and it is amazing according to whatever we heard, but we could not because of the COVID. And the other Emirates, I don't know. We were told that, like, the agency decided that they're not worth bothering. I don't know if this is true or what were the reasons, but anyhow, like, I can see that Dubai is amazing indeed, and there's so much to see in Dubai. So that's it. Yeah. So here's only Dubai.
Here's a final question, because it is very late where you are, and your bed looks comfortable. Is there a Jewish community we can visit? And did you see any of the Jewish community?
Okay, yeah. I saw that question and I forgot about it. Okay, so there is no Jewish community. There never was a Jewish community. I think this is one of the few places in the world with no Jewish community. But that's because before this rapid development of the Emirates, the only people who lived in this godforsaken, hot, dusty place were the Bedouins. Okay, so there was no Jewish community whatsoever. And then when the Emirates started developing, so there were foreign workers, including Jewish foreign workers who came here for, a few months, few years, whatever. And so some sort of a temporary Jewish community was formed, and so some of them were more observant, and so they needed a synagogue. Okay, but they could not have an open synagogue, and so one of their homes, one of these people homes became an unofficial synagogue, but they brought a Torah scroll and they were gathering there and praying there. And then when the foreign workers, the community of the foreign workers grew bigger, and the Jewish foreign workers became a bigger community anyhow, so they rented a nice villa, and they made this villa into a synagogue, and they also had guest rooms for people who wanted to spend the Shabbat there. All right, and that was the situation before the Abraham Accords. And after the Abraham Accords, obviously they have even more Jews around here. And now a synagogue is being built. So
it says there's about 150 families, about 3,000 Jews who live in and worship freely in the UAE now, or as of 2019.
Well, that's maybe in the whole EU. Yeah, I was talking about
UAE.
Dubai. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how the situation in other Emirates. In Dubai, there are a few hundred Jews who are currently living and working here, and the synagogue is under construction. So probably next time we come here, so we will be visiting an official synagogue in Dubai.
Great.
Which is amazing. Wendy, now I can see Wendy asks, is it safe for Jews to travel here? Yes, the answer is definitely so. As I said, there were Jews living and working in Dubai for many years, not with Israeli passports, because that was not possible, but assuming you have an international not international, you have a not Israeli passport, so you could live here, work here. There was never any anti-Semitism here. It is a wonderful place for Jews, yes, and that's because maybe also because they don't really feel connected to the Palestinians. They don't really feel they're Bedouins, and they have different history, different interests, and maybe this is also what contributed to the Abraham Accords, that made the Accords possible. So yes, it is totally safe to be a Jew around here.
There's one last question if you want to answer it. It's just, what's the name of the synagogue?
The name of the synagogue? I don't know if it already has a name. I
think it's like it's attached to the Jewish Community Center.
Yeah, I don't think the unofficial one had a name. I don't know. I don't know.
Sounds Googleable. All right. Thank you so much, Julia, for staying up so late and taking us on this tour.
Thank you, Ilana. Thank you all for coming. And sorry for the technical issues in the beginning of the tour. Thanks.
No worries. And thanks to Noam for helping.
Yeah. As always. And thank you. And I hope to see you again in Israel talking about Marc Chagall and his windows.
Julia, I have a quick question. You said you tour all day, like 11, 12 hours, whatever. You're up early in the morning. And then at nighttime, do you guys go anywhere, or do you just sort of stay around the hotel?
No. We have daytime program. We have nighttime program. And sometimes there is no gap in between.
Oh, okay. All right, go to sleep.
No, I mean,
2 hours.
We have the whole family on here. Ido's on here, Noam's on here, and you're on here. Ido's driving.
Julia, how long is this trip? How long are you there?
Pardon?
How long are you there? How long is this trip the whole time?
Okay. The tour is 6 days long, and we are we landed Monday morning. So this is this is the fourth day. The end of it. Yeah, it feels like so much more because we are so active. A friend of mine asked me today, how are the cafes and restaurants in Dubai? I said, well, I have no idea because we don't have any time for it. I mean, we're constantly moving from one interesting place to the other, which is not what I normally do. And but well, hopefully I will be back, and then I will spend time at a cafe and regular stuff.
And go to sleep.
Yeah, go to
Great.
sleep.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, Julia. That was a great adventure for the night.
Thank you for joining
Laila
me.
Tov. See you on
Laila
Tuesday.
Tov.
Good travels. Good travels.
See you in Israel.
Thank you, Julie.
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you, Lana.